Hi, my name's Connor. I'm the bass tech for Minnesota Brass Indoor. If you're watching this, that hopefully means that you are interested in joining us for the 2021 indoor season at Minnesota Brass on the bass line. These couple videos that we'll be putting out are just to serve as sort of a practice guide in preparation for the auditions, working on some skill sets that I'll be checking out in person hopefully when the time comes. And just how I would recommend you work on these skill sets. So in this first video, we're going to look at some examples in one of our exercises and sort of look through some breakdowns. And then the last two are going to be more geared towards just having some checks for you guys to play along with at home. So I hope these videos are helpful. Get your sticks, get your mallets, get your pad out, whatever your setup is, and let's get drumming. Cool, so the first exercise we're going to look at is time. I'll be putting annotations at the bottom of the screen containing the segment that I'm talking about. I got my music right here in front of me. I also have a metronome that you guys will be able to hear, so we can play some stuff along. I'm going to be taking this a little under tempo at 150. Typically we play it a little quicker, 160, 170, but I think it's useful to take it down tempo for the things that we're going to work on initially. So the first bar that I'm looking at here is measure 9, and we have a repeating pattern a couple times of these 9-lit splits over a quarter note triplet bass. And the first thing that I want to talk about here is that typically these end up being crushed. 9-lits are a lot more open than most people think they are, I think. So a solid exercise to work on that to make sure you're coming into auditions with some nice open 9-lit threes is just practice playing 9-lits. You know, even 150, 160, 170, I feel like most people can play a full bar of 9-lits or a full 2 counts of 9-lits and just as singles. It's really not that fast. You know, people hear the word 9 and I think they think it's super fast, but it's pretty achievable. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play a check pattern and then the 9-lit pattern. So it's gonna be, and so on. We're gonna play that 4 times, and then take 4 in between and just repeat that. And you at home, what I would recommend you doing is playing along a couple times and then taking out parts of it, right? So then maybe after a couple times of playing the whole singles, then maybe play just like, and then after a while just play a 3 and line that up, and then move the 3 too, obviously. I'll be trying my best to play accents here for you that I hope will read through the camera, so that you can line up your 3s on whatever note that you have for whatever part you're playing, whether it's the second partial or third partial of those quarter note triplets. So again, this is time measure 9 at 150. Cool. So obviously that's something you can work more on at home. You can bump the tempo up and just, again, I would recommend just starting with the full 9s if you're capable of playing singles for that long, and then just progressively taking out notes until you're left with just playing your 3 so that we can have some nice open 3s, 9-lit 3s runs. The next part I don't have a breakdown for, but I just want to quick talk about is repeating patterns like at line 17 and bar 17 and onward. Things like this, I think it's really easy when preparing it, and then in context as well, to just sort of listen to the song in your head and play along with it, which is a dangerous tactic in my mind. I would really recommend learning your counts and memorizing your part rather than what it's supposed to sound like, because you don't want to be the person that still continues to play your split patterns when the rest of the line has gone on to those fat unisons at the end there, and then you're just kind of left hanging. So memorize your counts, learn how many there are. Listening to the song and like trying to blend is something that'll come later in the season, but auditions, if you're counting through the whole thing, it's something that eventually I'll definitely be able to tell which one you're doing, because if you don't ever mess it up, then you probably know your part. But that's going to be a repeating theme in a couple of our other exercises. Any sort of repeating pattern like that, just memorize your counts, And each one of them, the nice part about that is it's a static hand motion, typically. Cool, so the next part I want to look at in time is measure 42. Just some stock, fours, 6 tuplet runs here. But again, for the sake of being able to fill out a run at auditions, which is something that I definitely am going to be looking for, if you're able to fill out your 4s and 3s and give them the proper spacing, not be too wide or too tight on those. We're going to talk about some exercises to work on that. So this time we're going to be playing the same sort of check pattern, just quarter note triplets on the right hand, but this time we're going to be playing 4s into the release of the next quarter note triplet rather than 9lets. So it's going to sound like. And then something I would suggest you do at home is, maybe offset that 4 so that you can hear the split. Just play around with that. And then same thing as the 9lets, eventually take out that check pattern and just be playing 4s. We'll have another exercise right after this that you'll be able to play along with as well to better hear that full fill. So we're still at 150 here. Cool, so now I'm just gonna be playing 6 tuplet 4s, and so that you at home have a chance to try to fill that in and try to really blend that sound, make that a nice smooth sounding 6 tuplet. Sweet, so I hope this video was helpful to you. The next 2 are gonna be more just me laying down checks for you to do with what you will at home. We'll talk about a couple conceptual things, but it's gonna be a lot more drumming involved for you. So stay tuned for those and keep practicing.